a story about Richard Burgess.
Oh, Richard Burgess. Now, who's he?
Well, he lived about over 100 years ago. He's from London. And he lived in London in the 1820s. And he was a scoundrel, absolute scoundrel. And he was a thief and a vagabond and a rogue, and he ended up getting busted. And so they put him on a convict hulk, and they sent him off to the Van Diemen's Land. And from there he graduated into highway robbery and general skullduggery, robbing miners and stuff like that. Anyway, after doing his time in Australia, he ended up in the gold fields of Otago. And I think he arrived in the port of Dunedin about 1850 or something like that. And yeah, he ended up in the gold fields, and he generally just went around ripping off the gold diggers, highway robbery and stuff like that. But he ended up going up the coast, up to Greymouth and Hokitika, because there was a gold rush there too in the 1860s, and same sort of thing. And he met up with these other real wicked shady characters. They're all shady characters, 4 of them. And they got on this boat, and they sailed out of Grey. Oh, first of all, they did this blinking robbery in Grey, and they actually killed this guy, and they only got a few nuggets of gold. This guy lost his life. And so anyway, they took off, and they got a boat up to Nelson, and they sailed into Nelson, and heard about the gold rush over in Canvastown, or the Wakamarina, what the river's called. And so they, with a villainous intent on their mind, proceeded to go over to Canvastown to see if they could rip somebody off over there. So they got over to Canvastown. They couldn't find anybody to rip off, but they heard that there was this guy from up the Wakamarina who had a big sack of gold, and he was taking it back over the Mangatapu saddle back into Nelson to sell his gold. So this guy, Richard Burgess, and these 3 other guys he was with, who were real bad beggars. One was called Kelly, the other was called Sullivan, and the other one was called Levi. And so they went up the Mangatapu saddle, which was the saddle between the Porus and the Nelson Haven, which was the main road through to Nelson then. And they waited up there behind this rock. I think they were up there for a couple of days before these guys came through from Canvastown. And there was about 4 of them came through the saddle, and they rode their horses, and they had gold with them. And when they got up to the top of the Mangatapu saddle, these scoundrels were hiding behind this rock, Richard Burgess and his mates, and they jumped out from behind the rock and killed a whole lot of them. They killed 4 guys, blew them away, stole all their gold, shot their horses, and then went down into Nelson and partied up, which was a highly intelligent thing to do. These guys were not that intelligent, really. And anyway, there they are, leering it up in Nelson, 1860, and there's not a hang of a lot of people around. They're expecting these guys to come over from Canvastown, but they never arrived, so they got a bit sus and had a look up there, and they actually found the bodies and stuff like that. They hunted down these 4 guys who were to be called the Mangatapu murderers. And they caught all 4 of them, Sullivan, Levi, Kelly and Burgess. And they caught all 4 of them, and because these guys, they just pleaded ignorance, no, we don't know anything about it. But they got Sullivan to turn state's evidence, and he testified against the other 3, and for that he got his freedom. So he was just a traitor. Sullivan was the traitor. So anyway, Kelly, Levi and Richard Burgess ended up in the old Nelson jail, which was up behind the main cathedral in Nelson. And they were tried, and they were hung on the gallows there, and their bodies were buried just up behind the School of Music in Nelson. And that's where they lay today, in unmarked graves. And of course there's the death masks that they took of them, which are in the museum. A mask, a mould taken of their faces after they'd been hung. And one of the moulds even has of Burgess's head, and you can actually see the rope marks in his throat. Yeah, man. So there you go, our own little Ned Kelly, who probably nobody out of Nelson has ever heard of. It's a local history, but it's real bleak and wild west shit, isn't it?
Yeah, man.